Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at something that, well, seems pretty straightforward on the surface, talking about your daily routines and habits. But as usual, we're going to dig a bit deeper.
Exactly. It sounds simple, describing your day, but the source material we're looking at today really argues, quite convincingly, I think, that this is a surprisingly vital skill.
Vital how?
Well, for everything from just making small talk, breaking the ice, to maybe even handling job interview questions, and just generally feeling more comfortable connecting with people in everyday situations.
Okay, I see. So the source we've got focuses specifically on how to actually describe your day in English.
That's right. And our mission for this deep dive is really to pull out the key takeaways from it. The goal is to help you feel, well, genuinely confident sharing your own day-to-day stuff and also understanding others when they share theirs. Understanding the rhythm of their lives.
Right. Okay, so let's get into it. Where does the source start? Logically, I guess.
Yeah, it starts with the basics, the building blocks vocabulary for common daily actions. But it's not just a boring list. It's structured around the flow of the day, which is actually quite clever.
Ah, okay. So morning, afternoon, evening kind of thing.
Exactly. Think about it. Your morning routine is different from your evening one, usually. So it gives you anchors for the morning, like wake up naturally, get up, get dressed, have breakfast. The essentials for most people.
All right, the non-negotiables.
Then it shifts focus to, say, work or study time. Things like go to work, attend meetings, or maybe work on the computer, take a break, have lunch. It acknowledges that this middle part of the day varies a lot, obviously, but it provides that core language.
And then the evening, wrapping things up.
Yep. The transition back home, come home, make dinner, maybe spend time with family, watch TV, read a book, and finally, go to bed. It's laying out the common verbs and phrases that, paint a picture of a typical day.
What I like looking at this is how it puts simple example sentences right there with the vocabulary.
Yeah.
So it's not just the word, it's immediately showing it in context. Like,
Right.
I usually wake up at 7 a.m.
Exactly. Or she takes a shower every morning. It links the word to a natural sentence structure straight away. It makes it much more practical.
Okay, so that gives you the actions. But a routine is more than just a list, isn't it? It's about frequency, rhythm.
Precisely. It's about how often you do things, and that's where frequency adverbs come in. The source really highlights these for adding that nuance.
The adverbs, yes.
Yeah.
Like always, sometimes, never.
Right. The source lays them out almost like a spectrum. You've got always, then, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and down to never. It even uses percentages like 100% for always, 0% for never, which is a pretty neat way to visualize just how strong that habit is.
That is helpful. And placement matters, right? I remember that being tricky.
Oh, definitely. The source stresses this. Generally, they slot in before the main verb. So you say, I always eat breakfast. Simple enough.
But there's a catch.
There's always a catch. It's with the verb to be. If you're using am, is, are, etc., the adverb actually comes after it. So it's she is usually tired in the evening, not she usually is tired. It's a small thing, but getting it right makes a huge difference in sounding natural.
Okay, that makes sense. So we have the actions, the vocabulary, we have the adverbs, the frequency. What about the grammar holding it all together when we talk about these regular things we do?
Good question. That brings us to tense. And the source points squarely at the simple present tense. That's really your go-to for describing routines, habits, facts, general truths, things that happen regularly.
The simple present.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, subject plus verb.
Fundamentally, yes. And of course, the key thing to remember is adding that S or is to the verb for he, she, or it. The examples in the source show this clearly. I go to the gym, but he plays football. It just signals that regularity, that pattern.
And it also covers negatives and questions, which you absolutely need for a real conversation.
Right. Using don't or doesn't for negatives. I don't watch TV. She doesn't drink coffee. And then for questions, you usually start with do or does. What time do you wake up? Does he study? Understanding these structures isn't just about, ticking grammar boxes. It's about building the framework to talk about the consistency in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And what seems really useful about this source is that it doesn't just give you the ingredients, the words, the adverbs, the grammar rules. It actually shows you how they mix together. Like real conversations. It includes dialogue examples.
Exactly. Like seeing someone ask, what time do you get up? And the reply, bringing it all together. I usually get up at 6:30 a.m. It perfectly shows combining that vocabulary, get up, with the frequency adverb, usually, in a simple present.
Or using these tools to, say, compare habits. That happens all the time in small talk, right? Like, do you exercise every day? And the answer might be, not every day. I usually go 3 times a week.
And the other person might respond, wow, that's great, I rarely work out. See how usually and rarely adds specific detail. It makes it a real exchange, not just facts. It moves beyond a simple yes-no to describe an actual pattern.
It really does bring it to life, shows how the language actually works between people. The source also suggests practical things for the learner, for you listening, right?
Yeah.
Like writing things down.
Yeah, practical tips, like writing down your own routine, trying to speak it out loud, even just to yourself, and ideally practicing with someone else because, knowing the theory is one thing, but actually using it is how you build fluency.
That seems to be the core message here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That talking about daily habits isn't just some grammatical exercise. It's actually a really effective way to connect.
It really is. It gives you instant common ground. It's a simple, sort of low-stakes way to start talking and build that sense of shared experience. We all have routines. It's just a very practical skill for improving your fluency by talking about something you know well, your own life.
Okay, great. So let's just quickly recap the main areas we covered in this deep dive on describing routines. We looked at how the source breaks down essential vocabulary for daily actions chronologically. We talked about the importance and the placement of frequency adverbs like usually or rarely.
Right. And using the simple present tense as the main grammatical tool for these kinds of descriptions. And finally, those practical ways the source suggests for actually practicing this writing, speaking, interacting.
And the overall value, as the source points out, is pretty compelling. Talking about habits is a straightforward path to connection and building conversational fluency.
Definitely. It's about discussing the familiar rhythm of life.
So, as we wrap up, here's something to think about, kind of building on what this source material suggests. Consider this. How do those seemingly small, mundane details of your daily routine, the exact time you wake up, how you have your coffee, that last thing you do before bed, how might those details quietly say something deeper about who you are?
That's interesting. And maybe the flip side of that coin, how does the act of sharing those simple details and really listening when other people share theirs, how does that open up genuine pathways to understanding and connecting with the people around you?
Something to ponder.